Hello, Easy Note Doctors. This is Dr. Sean Tompkins with today's training video. In this video, we're going to talk about the travel card calendar and also the visit countdown. So let's get right to it. We're here in the SOAP Notes screen. We're going to click on the travel card. And when you do this, you probably notice there's a calendar there and there's different colored boxes. Well, what these different colors mean is the blue represents you done a SOAP note that day, a yellow represents that you did an exam that day, and the green represents where you did an exam and a SOAP note. Now, how you can use this is if you need to go back and look and see what you've done one of those days, maybe the patient liked what you did on that particular day, you can go back and see what that is, or maybe for a patient might have had an exacerbation, you can't remember what it was, or you need to remind them of what happened to them. Or, there's a lot of different situations where you can go in there and click on that box and it'll show you those dates. Now you can go forward or back and scroll through those and see what you did on those days. So that's how you can use the travel card calendar. Now let's talk about the visit countdown. What you'll do is you'll come to the Edit Patient button, click on that, select your patient. This is a patient that you want to create a visit countdown. So we'll start right here. We'll create a visit countdown, and whatever number that you want to put in, if you're doing, if you have certain insurances that only give you so many visits, you can do it for that reason, or if you want to keep track of how many visits you're doing on their treatment plan, that way you can see where you're at on that. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, and then you can enter a date like I'm doing now. No, not year 30. We'll do, how's that? That's better. So we'll hit accept, and then we'll go back, and then we'll do the SOAP note again, click on our patient, and there it is. There's your visit number countdown, 1 out of 12, and there's our date range. For instance, if you don't want that in there, you want to take it out, then there you can do that too. You'll go back to Edit Patient, select that patient that you've created that countdown for, and then over here this red button, Remove Visit Countdown. We'll click that. Yep, and go back to our patient, and it's gone. So that's how you can do the visit countdown. Okay, so now for my tip of the week, I've been doing this for several years now, but I got an email today that made me think, well, I need to share this tip with you. My email comes from Cairo Health USA. And there's an article by Dr. Mario Fushinari. I hope I pronounced that right. And his article, he writes about the 10 most common EHR documentation errors. And the first thing that he has is, number 1, no chief complaint or history of present illness. Evaluation and management documentation guidelines require that a chief complaint be clearly documented in order to establish medical necessity. Guidelines require that only the physician document the history of present illness. So what they're saying is we have two complaints here. We need to identify which one of these is the chief complaint. And generally I'll do this on the first visit of a new treatment plan, whether it's a new patient or a returning patient. So how I do this is after you go through your travel card, you do everything here, you fill all these in, your S, O, and your A and your P, you fill all that in and then select done. Do your G codes since this is a Medicare patient if you're doing that PQRS program. And then here where we have on our note, according to the patient, he gave us low back of 3 and neck of 3. So we don't really have identified which one's the chief complaint. Well, that's where I have made a custom text to help do that. and I'll show you what it's going to do and show you how to do it. So we'll do insert custom text, and I'll hit this one that says chief complaint, the parentheses, and I got one without parentheses, and I'll show you how to use that one. So we'll do this one first, and there we go. Gave his lower back a 3. This is the patient's chief complaint, and then there you go. There's the neck. So now we have identified which one of these is the patient's chief complaint. So now let's talk about the other one I did without the parentheses. Say the patient only has one complaint. I know it sounds silly. We still haven't identified it. They have one problem. You would think that whoever's looking at your records could figure out, well, there's only one thing. That's probably the chief complaint. And maybe they do, but I'm going to help them out nonetheless. So I'll come over here and hit chief complaint. And I did that in the wrong area. We want to do it right here at the end of that sentence. So we'll go back in and hit chief complaint. Now we identified, we've helped the person, whoever's looking in her notes, that is their chief complaint. And how you can do this, how you can enter into your easy notes, real easy. Here we go, chief complaint. How you'll do that is where it says add or edit custom text, click on that button, and then you'll type in chief complaint. And this is, when you use these X's, that's going to put the patient's first name in. So use 3 capital X's, capital P for patient, capital F for the first, and then capital N for name, and the 3 X's apostrophe S. And that'll put whatever patient that you'll select, that'll be their name right there. So that's how you do that. And the other one, I didn't have the patient's name, the first name, so we just said this is the patient's chief complaint, and I put the parentheses to indicate that there's probably more than one complaint, so we're going to make that one the chief complaint when you do it right afterwards. Okay, that is my tip of the week. If you're interested more in my Medicare customizations, go to the News to Use number 293 on 5/6/16. That's May the 6th, 2016. There's a link in there to my intro video to my Medicare customizations. And as always, be responsible, keep studying and following the Medicare and insurance requirements for your state. I hope this video has been helpful, and thanks for watching.